We'll have a second scrimmage in a few days after that. And then the guys that we feel like need it for more of a situational scrimmage after that.
Well, there you go. There's the man, Brent Venables, getting ready to lead the Sooners into his fourth season as head coach. 6-7 in 2022, 10-3 in 2023, back down to 6-7 in 2024. Looking for that rebound in 2025. As we all know, it's another OU Insider post-practice blitz. Parker Thune alongside Brandon Drum. And Brandon, it was a hot one out there.
Yeah.
It was sweltering on the practice field earlier today, but another opportunity to get eyes on the Sooners. And obviously, I think of paramount concern right now is the status of Jaden Ott, the Sooners' prized transfer running back. Did not participate in today's practice. He was off doing rehab work alongside Caden Helms, who had a soft cast on his left hand after injuring it on Monday. So Jaden Ott, for the moment, is on the shelf with a shoulder injury. And needless to say, that is only exacerbating all of the public outcry that there seems to be about this injury situation at Oklahoma. It was terrible in 2024. Here in 2025, it's not that bad when we're talking about the duration of recovery timelines for all of the individual injuries that guys are suffering through. But the quantity of injuries is still something that has folks talking, and not in a positive manner.
I'm quiet when you say that because I have to like gather my thoughts because you don't want to say the wrong thing here, right? Like to you don't want to bullcrap anybody, but at the same time, there has to be some middle ground here. And right now, there isn't any with OU fans. And again, you don't want to say rightfully so, but understandably so. I get it. I understand why there is no middle ground in how you're feeling about the injuries that have come before you. Again, in fall camp, you saw it happen last year. But as Parker said and alluded to, these aren't like long-standing injuries. These are injuries that almost everybody should be available come week one as things stand right now. And so, and the other good news, Parker, was is a lot of them were in like their pads, they were in their helmets, they're out running around. They may just have tennis shoes on, right? Like it's not like it was last year where you saw dudes like on carts and scooting around and slings and all that. Remember last year, it was like, it looked like you were walking around an ER room at a practice. Far from that right now. It's minor bumps and bruises, pulled hammy here, maybe a broken hand that you can play through eventually once you go through, 5 or 6 days, 7 days of healing. You can put a club and a soft cast on and go out there and play. Those are the type of things that Oklahoma is going through right now, Parker. It's not, knock on wood as I say all this for you, it's not the doom and gloom that it was last year where dudes are just having surgery left and right. And that, I think that needs to be deciphered through, right? I think that needs to be understood when talking about all this.
Now, two sides to every coin, right?
For sure.
Guys are hurt. Opportunities abound for others. And particularly in the running back room, Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, Andy Bass, and Jaden Ott all right now on the shelf at this exact moment.
Named like three of the best running backs.
They're not practicing. They did not practice today. There were two active running backs at practice today for Oklahoma. It was Javante Barnes, and it was true freshman Torrey Blaylock. Now, Blaylock is a guy who's really come on strong, and I think it's intriguing to consider, Brandon, what a guy like that could do with the increased opportunities that are going to be available to him this August as other guys get back to game speed, because Blaylock had a hot start anyway. He had a good spring. He was an eye catcher. Now in August, might he make the most? And Brent Venables always says, right, the best availability or the best ability is availability.
Yep.
Might Torrey Blaylock be poised to make the most of the absences of Robinson, Tatum, Ott, and Bast, and potentially turn what few opportunities might exist for him in the early stages of the season in non-conference play into more opportunities come SEC play. It's a guy like this, even as a true freshman, Brandon, that if he can bring something to the table,
Yeah.
how much better does that make you feel about Oklahoma's entire offensive picture of true freshmen that weren't really coming in with expectations placed upon their shoulders of immediate contributions are providing immediate contributions anyway?
I would tell you, we got to watch last Friday. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes of practice, something like that. It was a long time. And that may be a little bit more than what we got, maybe an hour. What was it, an hour and 10, 15, whatever. But right as we were leaving, we got to watch inside drill. And who was a standout running back in inside drill? And that's with everybody healthy, by the way, at that point. Everybody going through the rotations. And we all looked at each other and went, there's something to this Tory Blaylock kid. He's got some juice to him. He made play after play after play in inside drill. Now, he got stepped on, his foot stepped on at the very end, and he was like hobbling a little bit, but he kept playing. And he walked it off. But his speed, his understanding, you and I have been sold on Tory Blaylock for a while now. We were really high on him out of high school. Thought he was one of the better running backs coming out of that class. And so far, he's proven that he comes from good genes too, Parker.
He does.
Somebody that knows how to make it to the league. So there's that to go along with it. Isn't it funny when a kid understands what needs to be done in fall camp because they've grown up around it, how much easier they transition to that next level, whatever level it is, whether it's high school to college, college to NFL, there's always something to that. And Torrey's showing it. Like, he's been really, really good so far. And I got to be honest, Javonte Barnes has looked good in the variations that we've seen him as well.
He has. And I'm hoping, Brandon, I'm genuinely hoping for Javonte Barnes' sake that we get to see 100% of him, because we haven't since he was a true freshman in 2022. And people tend to forget true freshman Javonte Barnes was a player, man. True freshman Javonte Barnes was making stuff happen. Rushed for over 100 yards in his 5th collegiate game against TCU. That's often forgotten because Oklahoma got spanked that day. But you know who was probably the best player on the field for Oklahoma that day in Amidst G. Carter Stadium? It was true freshman Javonte Barnes. I'll tell you, another true freshman who is taking full advantage of increased opportunities this fall and stewarding those opportunities well, true freshman cornerback Cortland Guillory. We got to catch up with him earlier, and Brandon, you asked him where his confidence comes from, and his answer was quite invigorating.
That's just me. I don't know. You go watch the film, you look at I've been like that. This is just the way I am.
Do you feel like it's part of the nature of being a defensive back?
Yeah, you got to have some swag, some confidence, you know. You get on that island and you second guessing yourself. Now you got to be 100% confident in your technique.
I mean, doesn't this kid seem like everything you want in a cornerback, Brandon? Like, he's well put together, 6 feet tall, in the neighborhood of 180, 185 pounds. He's put on great muscle since he showed up. He's fast. He's technically sound. He's aggressive. He does trust that technique, and he trusts who he is as a player. But, man, in order to play a position like cornerback effectively, you got to have a certain swagger about you, and Cortland Guillory just has it.
He does. That I think, would you say you and I are the only ones on the beat that probably have talked to him when he was in high school? And you talked to him more than everybody else at that point, but I forgot how confident he was. And it just like slapped me right in the, so I think it slapped everybody in the face, essentially. Like when he walks in there, the funny part was he grabbed the mic. He's like, I've never done this before. So he grabs a mic and like starts to talk into it to begin with, which was hilarious. But yeah, he's everything that you want. OU fans, you guys are going to love this kid. Go to you're watching our YouTube anyways. Go down there and watch his interview fully. You are going to love this kid. He is everything that you want and more. And on top of that, Brent Venables, unprovoked, brought him up again when asked about leaders on both sides of the ball. And he said I got to tell you, there's a young guy on the defensive side who's a freshman, Cortland Guillory, who has been a magnificent leader. And that just is mind blowing when you think about a guy that's only been here since winter and he's already taking charge like that. He's going to play and play a lot. And his confidence of not worrying about the outside noise, just focusing on him. He kept talking about stacking days, doing what I'm asked to do, learning my job the way it's supposed to be done so that I can get it right and get onto the field. Parker, he's years beyond what he truly is mentally and physically. And I think that's going to show up this year on the field.
You get the feeling, don't you, that a guy like that is going to be a program cornerstone for Oklahoma
For
in
sure.
the coming years.
For sure.
Not just a good player, but a legit program cornerstone. The type of guy that helps set the tone in that locker room. The type of guy that is regarded by his peers across the unit and across the roster as an alpha. He gives off those vibes already as a true freshman. And there's absolutely no doubt you're going to see a ton of Cortland Guillory this fall. He may start regardless of what happens with Eli Bowen's availability in the early stage of the season, like regardless of whether Eli Bowen is back week 1, Cortland Guillory is going to be in the mix for starters reps. No question about it. If he's any lower than CB4 on the initial depth chart, I would be stunned. I don't think he's going to be off the 2 deep. He's certainly going to be on the 2 deep in my mind come that first depth chart release. Another interesting wrinkle today, we saw Jeremiah Newcomb repping with the Cheetahs as opposed to the Corners. So
I like it. Yep.
And Brent Venables did mention, Brandon, that they are trying to find ways to get Reggie Powers on the field. Anyhow, they want Reggie Powers on the field. Might that also be the case for Jeremiah Newcomb as well? It would seem so if they're starting to try and get him some looks at Cheetah. So what this tells you, Brandon, is that there's a ton of youngsters, particularly in the back end of this defense, that Oklahoma feels are going to go a long way towards helping them win football games in 2025.
24 and 25 class may end up being two of the better classes that Oklahoma's had. And everybody wants to look at that 25 class and go, well, it's not ranked very high. And we always go back, well, go look at the average commit ranking. It was
Quality.
top 10. Quality. They didn't have room to get more than
quality.
18. But they got the ones that they got was quality, top-tier guys, and now they're showing up on the field. Particularly even in 2024, I think those two classes are going to change the program. I'm just going to call it right now. It feels that way. It feels like those are the two classes that are going to end up being, as you call them, the cornerstones moving forward and the game changers moving forward. And Jeremiah Newcomb's been talked about quite a bit. I mean, Cortland Guillory brought up Jeremiah Newcomb, said he had an amazing day at practice today. He talked about Marvin Jones Jr. at defensive end, having an amazing day. So there's a lot of these newcomers, I think, that OU fans, you guys need to get to know him. Obviously, Newcomb's not a newcomer, but he is, in a sense, a newcomer as far as being on the field and playing to you guys. Get to know these names because I think there's going to be a lot of new, fresh names out there that are they're going to be household names to OU fans before the season's over. And I think Jeremiah Newcomb is going to be one of them.
He's also just a fun player because they call him Nuke because of his last name.
Very true. And he's built like Billy Bowman. He is sawed off, man. I say that every time we talk about him. He's so big.
He is kind of reminiscent physically of Billy Bowman, is he not?
Yes.
There are a lot of similarities there. So a guy like that with his level of athleticism and his level of technical savvy, man, feels like anywhere you put him in that defensive back end, Jeremiah Newcomb's going to be able to make plays. It'll be interesting to see how Oklahoma deploys him and several other those chess piece type players that you can move around and slot within different roles in Brent Venables' scheme. Reggie Powers, obviously another phenomenal example of a guy that's cut from similar cloth. Folks, we're going to have so much more coverage for you and all of the insider juice that we can't necessarily talk about on a YouTube channel over at ouinsider.com. So, hey, give us a try. Your first week is only $1 when you sign up at ouinsider.com. So try us out for a week. You don't like it, you don't have to stick around. But
link below.
I tend to think you'll want to stick around after you see what content we're providing for Sooner fans that want all of the insider intel on a day-to-day basis, not just on football and recruiting, but also basketball, softball, baseball, and much more. We'll see you over there at ouinsider.com. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you never miss a YouTube video from us. For Brandon Drum, I'm Parker Thune. We'll see you next time with another post-practice blitz.